Tyrone must be struggling this.
Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter, Northern Arizona style. I'm your co-host Danny Neal, and I am glad to be back. Had a couple weeks off just to take care of some things, and just want to thank Russell Woods for being here in my absence. But of course, the star of the show is my co-host anyway. The man known simply around Northern Arizona as the coach. My friend, my supervisor, y'all know the guy's my boss at Flag High. He's my boss at the rec center. He always threatening me on both my jobs, but we still cool. My man, the guy, the coach, Mr. Tyrone Johnson. Good morning, coach. How you doing, man? All right, man. All right. I'm doing really well, man, and glad to see you can make it this morning. And you're chipper. We got a great guest today, and so man, I've been here for a couple weeks, man. And I was telling everybody, I got a little sick there, and of course,
Mhm.
somebody come in my room talking about, hey man, Dr. Johnson here, Dr. Johnson here to help you. I was looking all over the place for your daughter Illy, man. That's the only doctor I know, Dr. Johnson.
Hey man. Look, sometimes you get a makeshift doctor. Sometimes you got a little bit of knowledge that may help somebody. And so you give it to them, and man, the way you was looking, you needed a doctor ASAP, and Illy couldn't get there, so I needed to come on in and make sure that you was gonna be all right.
Well, I appreciate that, partner. You did a much better job as a doctor as you did as my lawyer.
Well,
So
well, the thing of it is, if you don't abide by the law, then sometimes you got to pay.
all it was for a barking dog. You were supposed to get me off scot free from a barking dog charge.
Nobody said scot free. I said I keep you out of jail. Did you go to jail?
No, I didn't go to jail.
So you pay that fine for having that barking dog.
Need a new lawyer. Doctor, you're okay. But anyway, man, appreciate you. I'm happy to be back. High school basketball is in full swing. All the love for DeMar Hamlin really paying off. And there's
Mhm.
just been some big things going on since I was last here. So what's been some of the highlights that you've been noticing?
Well, one thing, the guest that we had on last week, Wheaton Smith, Russell Woods had put out that after she got on the show, she scored 5 goals in that game later on that evening. So maybe some of these high school athletes, if you want to have a high performance, come on to the show, and afterwards it'll carry over into your game performance. So, but no, congratulations to her on a great game. And
Right.
it looked like they're doing well, 5-1 in region right now, and so that's a good thing. And again, we hope them the best moving forward. Other things going on, man. Like you say, really for me, it's just been basketball focused and look more girls basketball focused and more specifically flag high, just because we're getting to that point of the season where we got to start coming out and we're in region. We're getting PowerPoints. They released the brackets for the open division tournament. And so when you see the 32 teams, man, I got all excited like I was out there hooping again. And so
So, hey, can you explain to the people what the open bracket is? It's the first time this year, along with the shot clock.
So this year at the varsity level, we are doing shot clocks, and it's mandatory if you're going to host a playoff game. And so we got our shot clocks up and running. It's 35-second shot clock. As far as the open division tournament, that's going to take teams from 4A through 6A and put them in a tournament, and then it's going to dwindle down into who's the top team in the state. And so what you have is you'll get 8 teams from 4A according to PowerPoints, 8 teams from 5A, 8 teams from 6A, and then you'll have another 8 fill out irregardless of 4, 5, or 6A, just depending on where they're ranked in PowerPoints to complete the 32 teams. And so you'll play it down. If you lose in either the first or second round, then you'll go back to your respective A. So if we make it in and say we win the first round in open, we go to the second round, we lose in the second round, we'll go back to the 4A division championship, and we'll play for a 4A title. But just the fact that they got the open division, and we typically have some powerhouses in 4A, 5A, and 6A that are really a class above everybody. It'll be nice to see as it dwindles down who's truly the best girls basketball team, and they're doing it for boys basketball as well. And so it's going to be interesting this year.
That was explained very well, Coach. I even understood that. You did a good job with that. So it's exciting times, and of course, coming up next week, we got flag high Coconino basketball. The boys on Tuesday night, the girls on Wednesday night. Everybody's doing well, so there's gonna be some fun and exciting times for next week, and the city of Flagstaff in high school basketball.
No, absolutely. And then, on another note with basketball, we picked up a game for our JV and freshman level against Perry. And so we get to go down and play a 6A powerhouse and a program that's doing very well from freshman JV to varsity. And so, circle that date on the 26th. It's going to be fun and really see how we stand up against another powerhouse at our younger levels.
So that's special, man. You're especially with me being JV coaching. Now, being able to go down and as a JV club and as a freshman club, not be forgotten about and saying, hey, you're doing well. Let's go play these 6A powers. Varsity just went and played Footprint Center this past Saturday and had that experience. So there's some great experiences out there, and we appreciate it, and hopefully we represent well.
And you will represent well. And let me tell you, when you mentioned the arena, finally got a win in the arena. It took me 16 years to win in the arena. But look, finally got a win in the arena. So hopefully that, as you say, will be one of them good omens moving forward, and we can get back to arena and win again.
That's right, man. The girls was excited. I know Unique was like, Coach, I made a 3 in the arena, right for Booker shoot it. That's where I shot at. Knocked it down. So
Yeah.
it was fun. It was great. And so, man, just moving forward, there's just so many good things going on. Though we can't forget about NPA, we can't forget about bases. They had their crosstown rivalry game last week. I think NPA came on top, but it's just nice to also see them and give them some love because they're working just as hard as Flag High and Coconino and having some success too. So just proud of them also.
Yep, absolutely. And look, man, while we on basketball talk, we might as well just go ahead and get to our guest. Ain't no need to keep our guest waiting because when you talk about basketball, he one of the best that's ever done it that came through here. You know what I mean? And so, if you don't mind, Coach, I just go ahead and bring him on.
Oh man, there's nobody to better to bring him on to you, coach. And I'm excited to have him. Somebody we've been talking about for a while. So bring him on now.
Yeah, so our guest today is someone who's near and dear to me, of course, also near and dear to the Flagstaff community. He came up right here in Flagstaff, was a member of the 75 championship game, stayed and played and started NAU. And he's been, not just a role model for many. When I was little, I idolized him. He's known to us affectionately as LJ. Let's bring him on, Mr. Larry Johnson.
Standing ovation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being on, guys, and thanks for the nice accolades.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We definitely appreciate you taking the time this morning, and obviously there's a lot of accolades that you have, and so I didn't run through them, but I want to give you a chance just to really tell people that don't necessarily know you just a little bit about yourself and coming up in Flagstaff and where you are now.
Basically, growing up in Flagstaff, I think was a great experience. Originally came from Chicago, had family on the West Coast. My mom made it out this way, and growing up in Flagstaff was really a nice experience. I had some really good role models, people like Buzz Weidinger, like Homer Townsend, people like that who paved the way and showed us how to play basketball. I think everybody that came out of Flagstaff to play basketball, we all went through Cogdale. That's where we all learned how to play the game at. That's where I developed a love for the game. I tried playing football, but honestly, it was just too cold out there for me, man. I remember being out there and my hands was like this. It was so cold out there. And we used to have those big barrels with the fires in them, trying to stay warm. And I was like, nah, I'm about to move inside and just play basketball. But also, too, I had some great teammates. When I played at Flagstaff High School, I had some awesome teammates. So it just wasn't me. It was James Joyce. It was Swat. It was Coach Baker's son. And we just had an awesome team that year. I definitely wanted to go on and play at the next level. I knew that's what I really, really wanted. Really wasn't into the school thing, but I knew if I was going to play at that next level, I had to take care of business in the classroom. So I did what I had to do to take care of basketball, take care of that. Went played down at Mesa Community College after high school, and had started down there for 2 years. It was a learning experience because we played a different style of basketball. At Flag High, we got up and down the floor, and then when I got to Mesa, it was a little bit more structured. But I think as a player, you need to learn how to play different styles, and I think that really, really helped me. Another thing that I think really helped me too was when I was at Flagstaff High School, I didn't play varsity as a sophomore. They moved up James Joyce and David Diaz. And I think playing JV gave me the confidence that I really needed. So I came back, I made varsity my junior year, and in my senior year, I led the team in field goal percentage, I led the team in steals, and I led the team in scoring. So I think that really, really helped me. But I know nowadays kids are so concerned about playing varsity as sophomores and freshmen, that doesn't matter. Most important thing, as long as you develop. So for Mesa, I always wanted to play at NAU because I was a ball boy when I was like 10 years old at NAU. And that's people like Charles Flemings and people like that was playing. And I wanted to play there. So I thought they were going to recruit me out of high school, but they didn't. So my next place was going to be San Diego State. I wanted to go to San Diego State. So I wanted to visit down there. And then that kind of fell through. So I said, okay, what am I going to do now? So I had a couple of small D2 schools to go to. And I was like, I know I could play to Division I if I just get an opportunity. So came back to Flagstaff. And at that time it was going to be me, James Joyce, and SWAT. We all were going to walk on at NAU. And unfortunately, those two didn't make it. And we got a new coach in there, Jody Gardner, and he gave me the opportunity. And I ended up making a team. Wasn't playing much at all. It was really tough on a walk on. So first 3 games, I was in the rotation. And I think the third game of the season, we were playing U of A. and he put me in the starting lineup. And then next was history. So I took advantage of that situation, came back the next year. Um, was leading the team in scoring until I got my nose broke. We were winning too, but I was just content, being able to have that opportunity to play at that next level really meant a lot.
Yep. And
Um,
real quick, when you talk about you hit on the fact that you didn't make it as a sophomore. What type of edge did that give you as far as your work ethics and habits and working on those skills and developing when you didn't make it and some of your peers made it as sophomores? What type of edge did that give you?
I think I've always been the type of person where when somebody tells me I can't do something, it gives me that drive and ambition to like I'm gonna show them. I'm
Yeah.
gonna show them that I could play at that level and I should have been on that team. So I just kept working. I remember going up to Cogdale that night on the basketball courts, and I remember shoveling that walk off when it was snow on there and getting the broom and sweeping the water off to get me some jumpers up. Um, I think I was that focused. I was just going to show, hey, I can play at that level. So at the end of the season, Fred Anderson did move me up and gave me major minutes for the playoffs. But like I said, it was a learning experience, and I wouldn't take it back for nothing today. I also want to say that growing up in Flagstaff, I don't think we get enough credit for it, but there's some extremely talented athletes that come through Flagstaff High School
Mm-hmm.
and Coconino High School, and people don't realize that. But we have athletes that can definitely compete with Phoenix, Tucson, anywhere in the state of Arizona. Um, I know we won the 2A state championship my senior year, 75, uh, class of 1975. We were 25-0. At that time, East High School was 28-0. And we would have loved to have the opportunity to play East that year just to see who was the best in the state of Arizona. I think we matched up perfectly, and I think that would have been an exciting game.
And so that's kind of what we're getting at now with this open
Right.
playoff. Y'all would have had that opportunity, you know what I mean? So that would have been just fun to see. You mentioned y'all 25-0. I know everybody always say this, but were y'all the best team ever to come out of Flag High?
I definitely want to say we were probably one of the best to ever come out of Flag High. I'm not taking anything away from Charles Poteet that year that they won it, 1955. They had a really good team that year. I know Charlie Irvin. Who else was on that team
It was
that
Charlie
lost to
Erlin, Charles Fleming,
Charles
Charlie
Fleming?
Ware.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John Robinson.
Donnie
That team
Ware
was
was on that
awesome
team.
too.
Charlie Irvin, Delford Taylor, Joe Robertson. Because I remember that team too. That's when I very first started going to Flag High games. And
Yeah,
I'm just a couple years older than you. And so between the team you had, and believe me, I was one of those guys graduating in 72 who said, oh, could they have won in 3A? That was their first year dropping down to double A.
hmm
And you went 25-0. You answered my question when you said, hey, we could win Big East. So obviously, you felt that you were one of the best teams in the state. You obviously were one of the best teams because I knew everybody on that team personally, you know.
yeah. I think our advantage also too was, when we were in 3A, we were very competitive. We were in this back then it was called the Skyline Division, and we played like Apollo, Moon Valley, Marcus Deniza,
St. Mary's was in
Sunny
that
Slope,
division,
St.
Brophy
Mary's,
Prep.
all schools like that. But we're also at a disadvantage because back then the games were played on Fridays and Saturdays, and so we drive down to Phoenix on a Friday night, play down there, get back on the bus, or drive back to Flagstaff, get back on the bus the next morning, and then go back to Phoenix. So I mean that was tough, and I know now it's tough for you guys because you play during the week. You got to drive down there and come back and go to class the next day. So um, that's a tough division for anybody with that traveling and then having to go back to school and the legs and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and then some people like Coach Johnson have to go back to work. I don't. You know, I tell you, oh, hey, the girls, the parents, they pick him up. Oh, Coach, I'll stay with him. You go home. You got to go to work in the morning. but, yes. So, how has the game changed from when you played and coached as to compared to what the game is now?
I think the game now is I think more people are into the game. When I say into the game, more younger kids are getting training. before it wasn't a whole lot of training. So now the training is different. The diets are different. They're lifting weights now. And back in my day, it was like, oh, you can't lift weights because it's going to mess up your shot and stuff like this. Also, the 3-point shot. When I played in high school, there was no 3-point shot. They told me if I just would have made a killing off that three when I was in high school, but they didn't have the three then. And also, when I was in high school, you couldn't dunk. I think the biggest thing right now is the 3-point, which has really changed the game. I think in a way it's hurt the mid-range game because now kids want to do a couple things. They want to break ankles, they want to shoot threes, and they want to dunk. So um, it's different. It's definitely different.
So with that, as a coach, you look at things now and with the 3-point line, and your offensive strategy and stuff like that, it just makes sense either to shoot the three or get closest to the basket as you can if you're going to get just 2 points for it. And so when you look at stuff like that as a coach, what was your philosophy on that? Did you really run stuff to emphasize mid-range, or did you try and get stuff either a three or at the basket?
As a coach, when I was coaching, I had some really good years over here. I had some nationally ranked teams. Kids who played in my program, I honestly believe I had one of the top programs in the city. Kids who played in my program have gone on and played at Georgetown, Louisville, San Diego State, and just a number of places. And I was really, really blessed to have great athletes come through here. But my thing was a good shot. I don't care who shot the ball, as long as it was a good shot. I mean, if you had an open three, I expected you to shoot it. If you get into the lane and it's uncontested, you shoot it. If the big man come at you, you bounce the ball, we get something easy. I always think easier shots are better than difficult shots. So just long as you know what you do best. If you're not a 3-point shooter, you shouldn't be shooting threes. So long as you play within your game and you have the team concept, which has got to come number one. It can't be about your acclimates. I didn't get my shots or anything like that. So keep the game within the team concept and you shoot the ball. I don't care who shoots the ball. That was my concept. And also didn't get caught up in I'm a guard. You're an athlete. Mm-hmm. So I always taught my bigs how to put the ball on the floor.
Yep.
If I had a big that could shoot the three, you shoot the three. If I had a big that could bring the ball up the floor, you bring it up the floor. Because what you got to do is basically, if you're 6'5", nowadays, you're a guard.
Yeah, right.
If you're 6'6", you still could be a guard. If you got the capabilities of putting it on the floor, handling it, passing it, all this kind of stuff. I think another misconcept with the young kids is you got to score 20, 25 to get a Division I scholarship. That's not what they're looking for. All you have to be is fundamentally sound. If you can pass it, dribble it, shoot it, and you got grades, you can play Division I basketball.
Yeah, that's a great point there. Great point. So, Larry, you and Coach Johnson's paths are so similar. No one, we all know you're his uncle. Tyrone was that little bad nephew. Around that crazy. I hope your sisters are watching this. They come on and verify everything I'm telling you. But, I mean, just the fact you both went to Flag High. Uh-huh. You both went to junior college route. You both got the NAU. When you got the NAU, both of you got your noses broken. I mean, everything about you guys.
We both ended up coaching.
Yeah, both ended up coaching. You know, everything about what influences do you think you've had on Coach Johnson or still do, or what mark? Well, let me ask you like this. Are you the reason why he don't care too much about defense? All he want to do is play offense and shoot the ball?
Well, first of all, I have to say that my nephew was a tremendous player. I had an opportunity, to see him when he played like in Kingman, Arizona. He'd go to places like that, and I got a chance to see him play. He's always been ambitious. He's always been a very good student of the game. He's also been always smart. He had that drive and he had that ambition. He knew what he wanted to do. I think he was an all-around athlete. He was a quarterback at one time at Flagstaff High School. Right. And I think he got hurt playing football. And then I think he just totally concentrated on basketball. I remember coming to the house when I was playing at NAU, and he had wrote this little summary about and Johnson pulls up from 15 feet and squishes it or something when he was at Kenzie School. And I remember that. And that really touched me here. I definitely remember that. And that was a touching moment for all of us. I know my stepfather and Tyrone, when he was a little kid, he listened to the games on the radio all the time, and that meant a lot. And I'm glad that he's had the success that he had. His children had a lot of success too, and he's just made the family
Right.
proud, made the family real proud.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I definitely appreciate that, LJ. But look, Coach, before you say something, the thing of it is, everybody was trying to be like Mike. We was trying to be like LJ. We wasn't
right,
worried about
right,
being like Mike.
right.
We wanted to be like
See,
LJ.
yeah, and that's the truth. Like I was telling y'all last time. Me and Larry used to play. Me and LJ used to play basketball on a little hoop on a tree. It was a backboard nailed to a tree. The rim had like two strings. So tell Larry.
In the back of the house.
Yeah, had like
And,
two strings on it, and rocks. I mean, we was dribbling on rocks.
and
I
I'm
know
gonna
we
tell
sound
you
just
what
sound
I'm
like
gonna tell you what he tell me. He might not say it to me. He said he used to wear you out on that hoop too.
hey. And then he went to Chicago for one summer. He came back. He was like 3 inches taller. And had time for that rocks and that little rag hoop no more. And I ain't played him no more since then, man. I'm scared. And he just jumped in that player. So I've been blessed to watch Larry play all of his career. Also, I can remember when Larry was at Mesa. He's talking about James Joyce, who was the other one of the top players on that 75 state championship team, who went to East.
Eastern Arizona.
And I remember Mesa met Eastern, and it was a big matchup in junior college basketball. And for me, it was James Joyce against Larry Johnson. I was at that game, one of the best games ever played. You and James showed out, and for me, y'all made Flexdale proud, man. I'll never forget that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I miss him. We grew up together. We told ourselves, that we're going to try to win it our senior year, and we had that opportunity to do that. And I miss him every day. He was one heck of a basketball player. I saw him go out one night and get 30 rebounds. 30.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
could play. He was a bad boy.
Right. Actually, he was nominated to Arizona, the state of Arizona Basketball Player of the Year that year.
Yeah, he
So
was.
actually, he won it, not nominated. He was
Yeah, he
elected,
did.
selected.
Yeah, we both
So,
were, and we both were
that
nominated as Prep
All
All
American.
Americans.
Yeah.
So we both got that nomination, and I look back today and I think about it all the time. And I know those guys are no longer with me, or no longer with us. But I wonder how it would have been if me, James, and SWAT had played together at NAU. How that all would have turned out.
Right. Well, all of you went to play college basketball. You went on, and I think you went to Detroit or the Lakers camp.
Detroit.
You went to Detroit's camp. SWAT went on to play professionally overseas. James was at Grand Canyon for a while, and doing well. So, there obviously was some athletes on that team, man.
Definitely. And Joe went on to play junior college basketball, and
Yes,
then he probably should have went to ASU because he was one heck of an athlete too. So
right.
it's Robin Baker went somewhere. Where did he go? He went to somewhere in Texas. So
Yep,
a lot of guys on the team had an opportunity to play at the next level.
right. And so that was a great team. Actually, Joe Frank Kush tried to get Joe to go down and play football at ASU.
Yeah.
So,
That's
like you
probably
said,
what
they
he
were
should have
all
done.
you guys were.
Yes, he should
What's
have
that?
done it. He should have went to ASU and played football.
Yeah, that was his
Right.
meal ticket, as big as Joe was.
But I know one thing: wasn't nobody coming to the doghouse and not playing.
I know that's right.
And he was gonna let you know about it too.
Oh yes.
Right, right.
He was
There
one.
was some fun times.
He was one funny guy, and there was nobody more competitive than him. I mean, ping pong, dominoes, basketball, whatever, fishing. He gonna give it to you.
Oh yeah.
Domino
First, most
skis.
biggest.
Domino skis.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed. Yes,
indeed. So,
indeed. LJ, real quick. I know we've talked about it, but you're one of the people that has won a championship as a player, state championship. You won a state championship as a coach. And now as an administrator, your team is looking poised to maybe have a run and win a title there. What's that, in your opinion, that secret sauce or ingredient, or what does it take to be that successful as a player, coach, administration?
I think a lot of it is not necessarily you, but you putting yourself in positions like this. I was fortunate in high school because I had the talent that I had. Um, I also won a championship, a middle school championship over here too. So I've actually won one in high school, won one in middle school, and then won one as a high school coach. I think that there is some luck involved. I definitely believe that everything has to line up because there's always going to be ups and downs. You mentioned that I won one state championship, but I've actually lost two. But I was in three state championship games, and I lost the first two. I lost. It just wasn't my time. Um, I think that everybody's got to be on the same page. That's got to be number one. You've got to be focused. You got to be disciplined. And a couple teams that I had that didn't win it, we went to Reno because the state championships was always in Reno, and my guys just wasn't focused, and they just wasn't ready to play, and we just got outplayed. So keeping your kids focused, team come first, and you've got to be in the right situation. So I've been very, very fortunate that I've always had good players. I don't care if you're the best coach in the world. If you don't have the talent, you're not going to win. You're going to win some. You're going to win some games. It's going to be some upsets because that's how basketball is. It's peaks and valleys. It's always this. And just try to keep your players focused. When you get that opportunity, you got to take advantage of it for sure.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm still trying to take advantage.
You've been there, coach. You've been there. But I also can say this. Once you've been there, it gives you that drive, like, I'm going to win this thing. That's how it was with me. It gave me more drive, made me work harder. Every year, back when I was a head coach, right before the season started, they'd have these camps, these clinics, these basketball clinics in Palm Springs. So I would take my staff down there every year before the season started, and we start thinking basketball. We'd go see all these college coaches. They had floors. They worked through stuff. And as a coach, I had to get better as a coach as well. And so that really helped my staff. And the other thing that I think that's very, very important, you have to have, as a head coach, you have to have great assistants. And your best assistants should be your younger coaches, your freshman coach and your JV coach. That's where the development starts. And so once those kids get to you at the varsity level, they're ready to go.
So is it fair to say that if that if I get a group of kids that just came from JV and they ain't ready, that not necessarily blame, but I should probably really look at firing my JV coach?
Nephew, I didn't say that.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I would say get your coach in some clinics and
they don't do writing clinics though. Hey, I had him in one clinic this one year, and we done told this story, but so we won't keep on it. And in the clinic, somebody stood up and said, everybody that you call coach ain't no coach. We all know that, blah, blah, blah. And then the room gets silent. He gonna yell out, coach. I said, okay. I got something for you.
Hey, Larry, like he says, we told this story before, and we just happened to be in Vegas at a clinic, and we happened to go over to your mom's house that night, and he still complained about it and talking about you fired. I went to Grandma Diola and he said he gonna fire me. She said, no, he ain't. He better not never fire you. So Grandma gone now, Larry, but y'all got to take up
for me. I got one more thing to say, guys, and I got to get out of here. Class is getting ready to start. Tomorrow, I'm driving down to Phoenix, and we're going to have like a tribute to Homer Townsend, Mr. Townsend. And he was my sixth grade teacher, very influential in my life. I think one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, he was kind of like my mentor. I became a teacher, I became a coach, I became an administrator. And I think Homer Townsend played a very important role in that. So I know earlier, a few months ago, he had some health issues, and we pray for him, and he is doing better. So I'll get a chance to see him tomorrow. We're going to take him out to lunch.
We'll definitely give him our best, you know what I mean?
And Larry, I know you got to go, but there's one thing that we always do to end the show. So just give us about 40 seconds, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it is time now for the Coach Johnson Golden Nugget question of the week to give us some inspiration leaving here. Go, Coach.
All right. So just real quick, I know we talk about sports and accolades, and as a player and everything, coach, but you've worked with parents from a different perspective as a coach and as an administrator. What's one piece of advice you would give to parents when they coming out to support their kids, whether their kids are the top player or whether their kids are ones that's not getting much minutes? What would you give? What type of advice would you give to that parent?
Basically, before the season starts, I have a coaches meeting, and we also invite the parents. We talked about etiquette, game etiquette. We talk about I tell the parents all the time, I don't get into playing time and things like that. We expect our parents to behave a certain manner. Sportsmanship's got to come first, not whether or not your kid is playing or not. And so we have those conversations, and I think you have to have those conversations. I think parents all the time think their kids are better than they really are. That's just the reality of what the game, and not just basketball, all sports. That's how parents are nowadays, and it's so important to say, hey, we're going to be good sportsmanship, winning or losing, it doesn't matter. So you have to have those conversations.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we definitely appreciate that. And we appreciate you taking the time this morning, coming on and joining us. Nothing but love for you. Go ahead and enjoy your day, man.
Hey, absolutely. Hey, this has been a fun experience. This has been a fun experience. Anytime you guys want me to come back and I could go on,
yeah,
I have a lot of stories over here about both these guys. And
well, we'll definitely get you back on.
Hey, that's when them that will pre-tape. That way we can cut on for Hey, Larry, enjoy your day, man. Appreciate you. Tell your sisters I said hello.
Hey, I sure will.
Like family, man. And enjoy your day. Thank you for being on.
Much love, guys.
Right. Much love.
All right, love you, man. Talk to you later. Yeah. So, all right, Coach. Hey, that's what we've been planning for a while, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what I mean? It's always good just to get in and chop it up with LJ. I mean, we tell stories, especially when we get together as family, and it's just a bunch of laughter and, stories and fun. And so it's always good to get up and just chop it up with him.
Right, man. Well, hey, it's good to be back, man. Thank you for holding the ship while I was gone. Everybody know who the star of the show is anyway, so we wasn't worried about that. As long as you're here, we are good to go. So, man, I know you got a big day. I know we got to get on that bus today too. So
yeah, we do, man. And it's always good having you back. I mean, this is the heart of it. You know what I mean? Me and you chopping it up, going back and forth, just like we would be on the bus at the rec or whatever, and bringing somebody into the fold. So that's at the heart. That's what's up. That's fun. Shoot, I reckon it is that time, huh, Coach? I don't know what everybody else.
Last thing. Youth basketball starts tomorrow. If you want to come out and watch some 2nd through 8th graders playing basketball and having fun, Sonawa High School starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning till 3 o'clock. Come watch some young kids play basketball, support these young kids, and just have some fun.
And support this channel. If you liking it, go ahead and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And then after that, I don't know what y'all got to do, but I do know one thing. You ain't got to go home.
But you got to leave here. Peace.